Films and Tropes podcast, where books and friendships collide. I'm Becca.
And I'm Keri, and we're two friends who love to talk about books. Today we are taking another break from our regularly scheduled program of deep diving into a specific book to talk about some topics between the lines. And we have a very special guest. Becca, do you want to introduce our first ever guest?
Yeah. Okay, so this is the most beautiful, wonderful Marissa ever. Our guest her name is Marissa. Her and I have been friends for 3 years, a little over 3 years at this point. And we met because of our German Shepherd puppies, and everybody in the apartment complex was like, you need to meet each other. You need to meet each other. And I always joke that she's the proof that 10 Seconds of Courage works, because I walked up and I was like, hi, you don't know me, but I need to know you because everybody tells me I need to meet you, and my name's Becca, what's yours? And she looked at me like I was crazy, but that's besides the point. So anyways, welcome to the podcast, Marissa.
Thank you. That is hilarious, and that is accurate to exactly how I felt in that moment. We were standing by the dumpsters of our complex.
Great
like,
first meet.
I was like, what is happening? She's talking to me. I'm just trying to take my dog on a walk. No. But, and then the rest is history. So, hi, I'm Marissa. As Becca said, we've been friends for a while, which has been super fun. And one of the things we've always, bonded over and talked about has been books, which is really cool. So I don't know what to tell you about myself. I was like,
that's okay. That's okay. So, what are your favorite types of books to read?
Ooh, yeah. So I am a feelings reader person. So
okay.
I really jump around a lot in terms of my genres. Right now I'm reading 2 different fantasy books. One is an epic fantasy and one is like a romantasy. And then I call it like an easy chick flick read. Like you would watch like a chick flick movie. There's like my chick flick read.
Like a Hallmark movie and a book.
Right. Like it's just the feel good. It's only 300-400 pages. It's not that, not that bad, quote unquote, to just like sit and read. So those are some of my typical, but I do really like historical fiction and some of those ones. So those are really fun. And then, gosh, I read a lot of fiction, I guess I would say. Some nonfiction, but mostly fiction is really what has engulfed all of me for the last 4+ years. So
yeah, awesome. So what are you currently reading? You just mentioned 3 books. What are those?
Yeah, so I am currently reading, actually technically just finished the chick flick one, but I'm currently reading the epic fantasy is Words of Radiance in the Way of King series by Brandon Sanderson. I have been begging Becca to read this one. It is so good. It's definitely an epic fantasy versus romantasy, which I'm rereading right now, the ACOTAR series. So I skipped book 1 in my reread and I started with book 2 because it is probably one of my all-time favorites. But yeah, those are my the 2 current reads, and the one that I just finished was House of Gilded Nightmares. I guess technically it's like a fantasy-esque now that I think about it, but it was like one of those easy chick flick reads for me. It was a dark fae guardian romance, so new genre for me there, but I've been enjoying it. So
Sing. Do you think I'm gonna so I think we said this before recording, but for the listeners, I just got ACOMAF on Libby, so I have about 12 days to read it. How many days do you think I'll read it in?
Ooh.
For both of you, since you both have read it.
I was gonna say, I think I read it in you're reading it on your Kindle, Keri?
Mm-hmm. I'm not doing an audiobook like I did with ACOTAR.
Yeah. So, Marissa, I told Keri that ACOTAR probably needs to be an audiobook. I read it and I almost didn't finish it, but I think the rest of the series needs to be reading it.
I took so long to start the audiobook that I was listening to it in like 2.5 times speed to finish it before they took it away.
Yeah.
It was great. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm a have to get into it reader, so I imagine my guess is 4 days to get into it.
So I think it'll depend on when you start it. If you start it, so today's Tuesday, the day of the recording. I think if you started it on like Thursday, you'd finish it by Sunday night.
I would probably agree with
Fast.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I read it in 2
You have to
days.
get into it. Yeah. If you're the like has to get into it person, I mean, I just told you I started my reread like 3 days ago, and I'm like 100. No, I have 11 chapters left. I've been
I
up
can't
way
wait.
too late. My I will say like nobody in my house suffers. Everybody's fine. I'm the only one that suffers from my choices from staying up till midnight, but everybody else is fine. I would give you like 4 days, maybe 3 to 4 days if it's over a weekend,
Okay.
Yeah.
because I think hopefully you'll get like totally sucked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
And it starts off better. Like you don't have to get into the story, I feel like.
Yeah, because I think like midway through ACOTAR, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. Like I can't stop listening. And that was with like a day and a half left of my hold. So
Yeah.
That's
So,
okay.
moral of the story: don't wait 3 days to start it, and just
Yeah.
start.
We'll probably start it either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how the night goes.
Yes, please. If you text me, Carrie, we'll post some of the reactions on our
Okay.
social media.
Ooh. So, I'm going to tell you a story. I sent Becca this, well, oh gosh, last year at some point. So, the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, right? Have you read both of them, Carrie?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you kidding? We would not have had this podcast had she not.
I know.
Oh my gosh. I literally sent Becca a picture of me from our security cameras in our living room. And it was me sitting on the couch like this. And then I was like this. And then I'm like face down with my hands in my head and my hands like when I finished the book. And my husband's sitting next to me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like
No.
sobbing. Like I'm
No.
sobbing.
Wait, which one? Iron Flame or Fourth Wing?
I think it must have been Iron Flame.
It was Iron
'Cause
Flame,
I read it
I
in
think,
like
Okay.
2 days. And
That sounds
which
right.
was a poor decision.
It was a poor
Not on you. I did it too, but
I was like, all that to say, I'm not a social media person, but I did start a bookstagram.
We're gonna definitely plug that later.
yeah, for sure.
That works. I have 2 arcs under my belt. So,
Ooh, what are those?
so one of my favorite series from last year. I don't know if I'd say my favorite of all time, but my favorite of last year for sure was the Queen of Roses series by Briar Boleyn. I got her 4th and final book of the series as an arc, and when I tell you that like I don't think I breathed for 2 minutes reading this email, I was like I was so excited because like this is a total shot in the dark. I'm like brand new bookstagram. I'm not like your routine like post something every day person. I like post here and there and like do that, but I'm very like transparent about it in terms of my bookstagram is all about like my busy life as a mom, right? So I have 2 kiddos. I have 2 under 3. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 10-month-old. So my bookstagram is basically like me reading in little pockets of time. So when my youngest, Carlos, was a newborn, I was reading a lot and I read a whole bunch, and that's when I got my Kindle. And most of my starting bookstagram pictures starting in January of this year are me holding my Kindle and holding him, like feeding him, holding my Kindle, like something like that, where it was like very transparent that I'm reading in the pockets of time because it's something that I enjoy. It's a hobby of mine that I've had for so many years, and it's something that I don't like. It takes me out of the current reality of the heart of motherhood and newborns and not sleeping and all of that fun stuff. So I'm not your your consistent poster if that's what people are looking for. That's not me, but I can give you real and relatable content.
I love it.
So that was
So
my
you
first.
mentioned the first one. What
Yep.
was your second?
And the second one was this author's debut novel, Charlotte House's debut novel, Cardinal Sins. a little outside of
Okay.
genres that I typically read. It was a more of like a dark mafia romance, one that I
Okay.
would categorize as my like chick flick reads, which I don't know if the two really correlate with
I was about to say, can you explain that?
like somehow those don't mesh when I say it out loud. But that's kind of what I categorized it when I picked it up. And I will say she sold me on this entire genre with her debut novel. Like
Dang.
I finished the book in an evening, and my children go to bed at like 7:30 or 8. I was up way too long, but I finished it in one sitting. I just like could not put it down and completely obsessed with the characters. Very like, oh, I don't know. I if you go to my page, she's on there and you would see her, but definitely a debut novel that I was like super shocked by.
Okay.
And I would certainly recommend, but I would definitely tell people to check trigger warnings as it is a dark mafia romance. So
Gotcha.
that's all we'll say. But yeah, I was very excited to get my two first arcs.
It's exciting.
So
Did
how
we?
did you get them?
Yeah.
Ooh, I stalked them on Instagram. Is that appropriate?
Yes, it is.
I joined Briar Boleyn's street team, her like her Facebook group, kind of off-site page where she posts like additional content and stuff to like an exclusive group. So I joined her street team, and after I read like the first book and she opened it up, I was like, I have to be in this group like immediately. So I joined, and she posted in there about her arcs and was like, if anyone is interested, like I don't know if you guys are just fans or you have bookstagrams or whatever. But she was like, if anyone's interested, here's the sign up, and go through that flow, and she'll pick like select people to do it. So I was chosen through there, which is really cool because I was like a member of that group for probably like 8 months, 9 months before she actually like put the arc
Dang.
out there. So I was already an active member, which is nice. So like she could see like the activity in her page and all of that. I don't know if that swayed any type of decision making, but you had to prove, go through like a Google form and then kind of prove you've written a review on other books or like read the other books, that sort of thing. So you had to like proof that you've done those before because it's a series. So after that, I like waited. She was pretty quick about it. It was like a week, and I was accepted through there.
Wow.
Dang.
Hers was like a little less formal. Charlotte House was a little more formal, where I stalked her Instagram. I'm not wasn't part of Street Team or anything. I just saw her debut novel and saw like some of the like what are they called? The like leading pictures and cover reveals and stuff like that. And I was like, ooh, okay. Like I've never read a dark mafia romance, but I've read mafia romance and those are fun. Like I've read some of those. And I just went through, she had the arcs or the like arc sign up. So I went through the link that she had on her Instagram and put in there like extra special note of like, I love you. I really want to read this book. And hers took a little bit longer, but it was through like an actual company that she sent like the emails with, hey, you were chosen. And then there's another email of like, here's the directions. And then, due by whatever date. So that was a little more like structured and formal, where Briar's was a little less formal, but she also had a lot of like life stuff going on before her last book came out, the one that I had the art copy for. Her husband was in the hospital and like a bunch of heavy stuff was going on. So she was like, thanks all
Oh.
for being patient. Like, just get it in when you can. And it was due by like Easter. And she's like, I didn't realize it was Easter, so I'll just extend it another day. Like, she was really like flexible and sweet
Oh.
and very informal versus the other one. So I've I've had really good experiences with both. They've been kind of opposite, other than you read the book and you put a review out there sort of thing. But the process itself was a little more opposite, but I did find both of them by stalking Instagram. You
Good
gotta
to
do
know.
Hey.
So that's all we have to do.
yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I've definitely tried. I mean, I've signed up for more than just the two, but those are the two that I've gotten so far, which is fun. And I've had really good experience with both because I've loved both, which I feel like is also pretty rare maybe for ARC reviews too.
Do you like post a public review or is it like a private review?
It's public, so for
Okay.
mine, I did like Instagram, Amazon, and Goodreads. So if you buy it on Amazon, you can post to Amazon. And then my Goodreads is always popping, so I put it on my Goodreads. And
Well,
then my
I need to
Instagram.
add you on there now.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
I'll find
seeing
you.
everyone's reviews, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I like that one. And then just don't look at my want to read because it's probably like 6 years of me just adding things there and then going back and being like, what book is that? So the want to read is excessive.
It is.
Hey, that's
It's
okay.
okay. All of ours.
Yeah, but
If it's not, are you truly a bookstagrammer?
Yeah.
valid.
If you do truly love books, even.
It's so funny. My Goodreads feed is literally you two. It's Keri and Marissa.
I had a bunch of random people on mine. Well, not random. Like I knew who they were from like middle school and high school, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to see these people. It's okay.
I don't even know who she is, but I have like an older lady who reads some very interesting choice books. But she's all over my Goodreads. And I like can't help but just like sometimes I'm like, I'm just really interested in what type of book you're reading right now. So
They have no shame.
no, none.
None.
Absolutely zero. Like like the covers, like they actually have the discrete covers of some books. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
She just posted a very non-discreet version of the book for Goodreads and was like 5
Solid.
stars. I was like, oh, Carol, okay.
Okay, Carol.
Oh, it's like we're doing this. Cool. Okay. I appreciate that.
Carol.
It was
What a
very
time. Okay, would Carol like Cardinal Sins? That's the true question.
You know what? She may. She may.
Maybe I think you should comment on her and be like, if you
At
like
Carol.
this, at Carol, you should read this.
I think the
That's funny.
dark part is what throws me off of like recommending it sometimes, with it being categorized as like a dark mafia, which it's like it's dark. Like let's be clear, it is dark, but it wasn't dark in a way that I thought.
Okay.
And that's part of why like I thought the book was really good because she really like romanticized things that like typically like would probably make you gag. Like you'd be like, oh, that's gross. No. But like she like romanticized it some way that I was like, oh, I love him. It's like, wait.
Oh no.
Yeah, like I won't say anymore so I don't spoil it for anybody, but in my review I literally was like, am I supposed to like Will as much as I like him? Because does this say something about me that like I need to like do some self-discovery on?
No, that's okay.
We're good.
All right. So, Marissa, what is your favorite trope to read? Or top 3, if you can't decide.
Or all of them.
Or, yeah. Well, no. She needs to pick at least 3. Or, I mean, at the most 3.
Oh.
I feel like... I don't know.
This is hard. Well, we were talking before recording started that I do love me some Grumpy Sunshine. That is a good one.
Okay, I have a question. Do you prefer like Grumpy Sunshine, like the man is grumpy and the girl is sunshine, or can it be flipped?
No. Sorry, I like had an image in my head of like what it would look like flipped, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe.
I immediately thought of like 13 Reasons Why type of... Like, that's the girl I thought of.
Oh,
Did you
I've
guys
never
watch
seen
that?
that.
seen it either.
Don't watch it. It's not worth it.
Good to know.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess I could say maybe because I don't think I've ever read it flip-flopped. But
Okay.
I was thinking like Grumpy Man, Sunshine Girl.
Okay.
The one that comes to mind for that is Cardinal Sins that we just talked about. But also, if you guys have heard of the Dreamland series by Lauren Asher. It's also
I've heard
like
of
a
Lauren Asher,
billionaire
but
trope. So there's a Grumpy Sunshine, like a billionaire trope in there. So I guess billionaire would be like an overall, it's like a billionaire romance. So that would be the
Okay.
overall. But there's 3 books in the series, and my favorite is he's a Grumpy Sunshine. And
what books are they?
it's the Dreamland series.
What's the name? What are the titles of the books?
Oh, Hang on.
Just Dreamland.
Yeah,
Series.
Dreamland. Wait, I will find it. I know the last book is Final Offer, but I can't remember the first two, which is terrible because
Oh, is it the fine print?
yes.
Is it that series? Okay.
Yep.
And I don't remember what the second one's called.
Fine print, terms and conditions, and final offer. The fine print is the one that's my favorite, and that's the Grumpy Sunshine.
Is okay.
So that's a good one.
Okay.
I would say that's definitely one of my maybe top. We talked about like enemies to lovers. I feel like that's like an obvious one. You just love me some of that.
If someone doesn't like enemies to lovers, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Right. Yeah.
It gets me every time.
Even my cat here, she's like, enemies to lovers? I'm listening.
What?
Yes.
They know.
They know. Yeah. I would say those two. Two. However many
Two.
I just named. So I have one more for Carrie's list.
Yeah. If you can't think of one, it's fine. I'll forgive you.
I'm trying to think of my favorite. So like the epic fantasy I'm reading, I feel like this goes along with like whatever you're currently reading right now as being like, ooh, this is like one of my favorite tropes now.
Yeah.
But the epic fantasy I'm reading from Brandon Sanderson, he has like functional magic throughout his series.
Ooh.
And it's like I have a love-hate relationship with this. So maybe we'll put this in both categories of like favorite and least favorite. I have a love-hate relationship with like made-up magic where there's like a set of magic, I feel like in books that's like, okay, there is a shadow daddy. He's a shadow daddy. He commands shadows. He has some sort of thing to do with shadows and all of that, right? He's dark. He's mysterious. He's all of these things, which love it. Love all of it.
10 out of 10.
Like, love it. But there's like the side for like Brandon Sanderson where he like doesn't follow any or like most of those typical magical abilities that it like hurts my brain sometimes to read these books. Like they're so good, don't get me wrong, but the magic in them is like made up. So I'm literally still trying to figure out what some of the magic or skills are right now, because what I thought was it, my husband's read the series, so what I thought was it, I'm like, he's totally this, and it's this and this, and Armando's like, try again. No, like everything told me it was gonna be this, and he's like, no. So I have a love-hate relationship with that because it makes me think, and I like the like uniqueness of it, I think. And I like the like everyday use of magic that's like normal. So no spoiler. But the ACOTAR series gives me a lot of those vibes too, and I like the like feeling of that. But the epic fantasy with Brandon Sanderson, that like functional magic is a lot of fun for me. Like I said,
Okay.
love-hate relationship, but I guess those would be the three that I would make my favorite at this moment with the books I'm currently reading.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, least favorite trope.
Do we want to do our favorite tropes?
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
I vote yes. If this is the vote, I vote yes.
One that gets me every time is like the comfort after a nightmare every time. Or like when they can't sleep, like when like they sleep, it's like the one bed and that's like the best night of sleep they've ever gotten because they have bad dreams or something.
Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, the one bed trope is so good.
Is slow burn considered a trope?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Do you not like slow burn?
I've love-hate relationship. It's so hard because I feel like romance books make you have a love-hate relationship with those types of tropes. Like I would love a slow burn, but then when I'm reading and I'm like, I'm 200 pages away from the end of the book, or I'm 100 pages away, and I'm like, can you please, like, just do it already? Like, do something. Like, this is me reading the, like, chick flick one that I just talked about. It's a dark fae guardian romance, me the entire book being like, ooh, it's them. It's totally them. It's them. It's gotta be them. And I'm like, maybe not. No, it's not them. Okay, interesting. And then we like get to the end and I'm like, come on. Just get like so irritated sometimes. I'm like, there's like a slow burn and there's like a wait too long burn, I feel like.
Mm.
And then the like wait too long burn. You gotta pick like the perfect time to end your slow burn, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that you feel it building as a reader, right? You feel it building and you're like, come on, the next page, the next chapter, the next chapter. And then it's 3 a.m. and I've made horrible decisions. And I'm like, okay, it hasn't happened yet. Or it just happened. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely can't go to bed now.
Oh, no,
Definitely
you
not.
can't.
No.
No. I'm very
You guys
basic.
were supposed to talk about yours, right?
Yeah.
Sean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's enemies to lovers, always.
always.
I'd have to look at the video we posted, to be honest, when we rated our favorite tropes.
Oh,
I'm gonna
that's
go back to that real
right. We
quick.
did that.
No, you can't
That's
look at
so-
the video. You have to say what they are right now.
But
and
I
we're going to
can't
see if
think
this
of
theory
any-
is true on like what you're currently reading shapes your favorite tropes, yes or no?
But I'm not deep enough into them yet.
Okay. Age gap. What do you feel about age gap?
Yeah.
I will say I've read one age gap that I was like into. It was like a
Okay.
chick like romance.
So let's talk about age gap for a second. Because when I think about age gap, I think about like one generation, like father, daughter, like daughter's friend. That's what I think about age gap. But apparently it's very controversial because like Tamlin and Feyre are like 500 years apart.
Well,
It's different.
that's
Right.
true, but that would be considered age gap, I guess, technically.
It's different.
Even though they're
In
looks
my mind, he's
doesn't
much
look-
younger.
100 years old.
Yeah, if
I
he
think
looks
it's
it.
different.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one
But
I
yeah,
read
no.
was- oh gosh, the one I read actually was like a bodyguard and age gap together, which actually I think is what like made it work. If that makes
Okay.
sense. Right. It was like a president's daughter who like estranged president's daughter doing her own thing, and there was a threat on the president, so like Secret Service got sent to her basically, and she was like, no, I want none of this. And he watched from afar, and she found him and was like, I know you're there. Like, can you not? And it like started this little like banter, which love me some banter.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it actually worked. Like it worked, and I was like, okay, I can read this. I'm good with this. This is fine. But other
This sounds like a movie, too.
maybe.
It's also with Matthew Good. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Sensing a favorite actor.
Yeah, really.
A
I
little
don't even
bit.
know.
He's in a lot of things that I watch.
What does
And
he
I
look
didn't mean
like?
to. Chasing Liberty.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's a good one.
That's like very similar.
Yeah, but there's not a big age gap there, is there?
I don't think so. Another, oh my gosh, I do watch and love a lot of his movies. The Gersney Literary Potato Peel Pie movie. He's in Downton, which if you haven't watched, you need to watch. He's in
Yeah,
Imitation
Keri always
Game.
yells at me because I haven't watched.
It's literally on Amazon Prime for free,
He's
I
in
believe.
The Imitation Game. That's probably one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm. He's in The
So
Kingsman.
He's in Kingsman.
It's basically, oh, he's in The Crown. That's true. He plays Princess Margaret's first husband when she was young. You don't want. I'm
Do you guys
leaving.
have a favorite book turned movie or series?
Outlander, for sure.
Have you read Outlander, Marissa?
I haven't read it, but I've
Oh,
watched.
you gotta. The books
have
are so much
them.
better.
I have them, but my sister said she was struggling through them, so I like haven't got
a
into
journey.
them, I would say. Yeah. There's like
It's a
18
journey.
There's like
Yeah.
8.
And it's not finished yet. It's definitely a journey. There are some that are like really, really good, and I like couldn't stop reading them. But there's some like I was like, I need to read something else, or I'm going to die. Like some of them were so bad, but you had to get through it.
Because you got to get to the rest of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Becca, do you have one?
Have one what?
A
Book
favorite
to
like
movie.
book turned movie or TV series?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Though there's literally three that are coming to my head right now: The Hunger Games, Divergent, and
It's a good
Bridgerton.
one.
And I don't like Bridgerton book to movie or book to show. I like thinking about them as separate entities. Divergent, I still cannot get over Allegiant, and I really don't like how the ending of Allegiant did. So, like, I think the first book was fine. Like, the Divergent movie was fine. So, I think I'm gonna have to go with Hunger Games.
That's a good choice.
And have to. That was very enthusiastic.
And then when she finishes Harry Potter,
Yeah.
just to get through it, listen to the audiobooks.
I
They're really short.
can't.
I have
Yeah.
not read them, I will say. I started the first.
I'm done with you too.
I watched all the movies. But look, okay. Side note. I wasn't allowed to watch or read Harry Potter growing up.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Okay, so I like got to college and was like, Harry Potter what? And watched all of them, and I'm pretty sure I've watched every Harry Potter every year in the fall since I was introduced to them.
That's acceptable. I mean, they're pretty close.
I haven't read the books. I have wanted to, and I've picked up. I have the first two on my shelf, but
They're good. They're quick.
they are quick. They seem really small.
Yeah. I think I read the whole series in like a few months. They
I
get
read.
darker and bigger as you go on, like more complicated, more complex.
That's what
Because
she.
they grow up, you grow up with them. Like people who started with them were kids when they started, and then they grew up with them.
Yeah.
I'm on a Harry Potter kick right now, so
I've heard that
Yeah.
about Throne of Glass too. Like they kind
I
of
want to
grow.
read Throne
Grow
of
with
Glass.
the reader. I'm gonna read it this summer.
I'll
Ooh.
have
My
to check
sister,
in.
yeah, my sister and I are gonna start it this summer together, and I made her wait. She's finishing like PA school rotation, so it was like, you don't have time to read this series right now, anyway. But she's gonna wait till the summer so we can read it together, and then just like you guys have like text her my reactions and be like, I'm on this page. It's like
The best way to do it.
it's the best getting to read that with somebody, like you said earlier, Becca, like the besties thing. It's the best getting
Yeah.
to read a book with someone and be able to like freak out over your reactions together. Be like, I'm not there yet. It's great.
Yeah.
Did you
For
tell us
sure.
your favorite book to movie?
Oh yeah.
No, I wasn't gonna answer because as soon as I asked the question, I was like, shoot, I don't know what mine. So I was gonna totally skip myself if I'm being honest.
I won't let you.
So what made me think of that question is that ACOTAR is going to be a TV series, is what that made me think of. And then Fourth Wing and Iron Flame were picked up as well. And I was like, ooh, okay. Those are, I feel like, what's taking the world by storm right now.
Yeah.
So that's what made me think of it. But I don't know. I think the last one that I feel like the last one I probably watched that was turned into a movie was Where the Crawdads Sing.
Oh, that's a
And
good
that
one.
one
I
was
still haven't seen that
good.
movie.
It was pretty good. I have a few gripes. The books are always better in my view, if we're being honest. The book's always
Always.
better, but it is I think the books are better like so for ACOTAR. I like to picture that's why I looked at you when you said audiobooks because I like to picture the voice. I like to picture the characters. Like I don't want to know the voice in an audiobook because I want to picture it myself. For me that's like part of the experience of reading it.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
I want to like picture Feyre's voice or Tamlin or Rhysand's voice. Like I want to like, you know,
Amarantha.
right. But then that's so hard whenever a movie or a show comes out because then you're like, oh, that's not, that's not it. It's like,
Yeah.
That's not what I imagined.
oh, come on. Like all of the fan picked versions for characters, most of them, I'll say, most of the fan picked versions, I'm like, okay, I can totally get behind that.
All right.
Like, we
You
keep
want to do
referring
least
back
favorite trope?
a least
Yeah.
favorite. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna sound really bad actually now that I thought about it. I am not a big fan of reading about second chances. Like the second chances ones. I told you it was gonna sound really bad as I said it. I read one and I was like, okay, this is not bad, but I gave it like 3 stars, 2.5, 3 stars. I don't know why I can't do the second chances one. Like not even like they're like the one I read was they just missed each other, right? Like one had feelings and one didn't at that time, and they were like childhood romance type thing. And then they came back and she's back in the small town and he's there and it's like all this and I was like, no. Like, wait. I can't. I don't I don't know if I'd say it's my least favorite, but it's definitely in like the least favorite column for me would be Second Chances. I don't do anything like political or sci-fi. I don't enjoy like those types of things. Like one of the fantasy ones I found was about aliens and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I'm gonna branch into like werewolves or vampires and like dip a toe over there now that I know there's other romance ones that I like. I'm gonna dip a toe in some of those, but I'm not dipping a toe in aliens or anything like that. I feel like
Yeah.
that's pretty extreme, but those are ones that I won't even really look
Yeah.
at it, which sounds bad.
No.
Well, it's funny, Carrie, you don't know this. Marissa and Armando are second chance. Like that's their like
Not even put that together. That's totally
She doesn't like it because it's her own.
That's really true. No, we have a wonderful relationship. We have a wonderful marriage. That's not what Why did I not put that together?
He's
That's
like,
horrible.
ew, second chances.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
No.
That's okay.
Hopefully he cannot hear me because he's like behind this one. Sorry, love you.
She only hates reading about it. It's fine.
Yeah, just reading. Like movies even. Movie Second Chances. I'm like, okay, this is fine. Like
Yeah.
Like Hallmark movies, I can get behind those.
yeah,
Like Christmas
like there's
movies.
a lot of Hallmark movies or like the holiday romances or someone's coming back to town for the holidays and they rekindle a fire and like I could do those in a movie. Maybe that's it. I just can't like read about it, but I like it in my
Yeah.
own life or I like it in a movie or something like that. So that's a
Have
hard
you
one
watched
for
Sweet
me.
Home Alabama? Lord, we need to. I need to like make you two a list.
I
Please
honestly
do.
don't do a lot of shows or movies. Like I watched Bridgerton and that's probably the first show I've watched in months.
Dang.
I've just been reading. Like I'm definitely in my like
That's
reading
good.
era right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Well, I'll get you guys a list. Becca, what's your least favorite trope?
I was trying to think about this. I don't like, I know we talked about this earlier. I don't love age gap.
Mm-hmm.
I also would agree I don't like second chance. Oh, I do not like love triangles.
That's my least favorite, is love triangles. Like, I don't like what they did with season 2 of Bridgerton.
Ugh. They did Edwina dirty.
Yeah,
Still
and
makes
that's why
me
I
mad.
don't like it. Is because there's always that one person that I like feel such empathy for, and then I like can't stop thinking about them, and I ignore the main characters because I'm like, you jerks. This poor
You know
person.
what's funny though? I don't hate it when it's like one girl and two guys. I don't
That's
necessarily
true.
hate that. I hate when it's like two girls and one guy. That just I don't know why. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
okay.
we know that Iron Flame and Fourth Wing like absorb all of Becca. Carrie, what book or series
Oh my gosh.
does that to you? Mine, I'm
I
pretty
don't know
sure
if I have one at that level.
or just a book. I guess it would go along with like your favorite book at this point in your life.
You don't think it's Pride and Prejudice?
I mean, that's
Ooh.
always been my favorite. Persuasion is a good one. Persuasion, I think about probably weekly, so we'll go with that.
Okay, can we go back to Pride and Prejudice for a second? Because did you read the book
Mm-hmm. Several times.
and you saw the movie?
Both.
Did you like two there? Because
Oh, yeah.
because you immediately said Outlander when we were talking about
Yeah.
book movies.
Because that's complicated. The
Outlander's
movie...
complicated.
No. Like Pride and Prejudice adaptations. Because if you want a true... Here we go. If you want a true adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, like the closest you can get to the book, you have to watch the BBC version, the 6-hour series. That one is very good. It grows on you. And then if you're just looking for like a quick romantic story adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, Keira Knightley's is the way to go. The music is amazing. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't annotated Pride and Prejudice that I've been dying to get into. Jesse got me one Christmas, so we'll just go with that. We'll Pride and Prejudice.
Like, I have an annotated version that I'm really excited to get to. But you have to watch the 6-hour and not just the 2.5-hour one. The 6 hour is way better. But it may or may not actually be my favorite.
Yeah, I would say, like, I listen to mostly Austen podcasts. I started one, The Thing About Austen. They'll give you, like, there are 2 women in, like, literature studies. And they just know everything about history. And it's so interesting. They talked about Mr. Darcy's pen for 45 minutes, and I was here for it. There were a lot of innuendos, which was also really funny.
Awesome.
So yeah, we'll go with that.
That is a good one. I would agree. I grew up watching Pride and Prejudice because it was my older sister's favorite. So I'm pretty sure I watched it at least twice a month for years. But it was good. Same with
It's so good.
Becca and I bonded over Phantom of the Opera. Kidding. Can't.
But see, that movie is not good. You
No.
have to watch the 25th anniversary version with Ramin Karimloo and Sierra Bogas as the Phantom and Christine.
I have not seen it, but I can't not watch Gerard.
You're Becca's friend, and you haven't seen it.
I'm sorry, what?
I felt like when I first met you, you were like, you haven't seen it? Oh, we're watching it.
I made Carrie watch it. We had a movie night because I could not be her friend without...
Yeah, that's true.
So we may be taking a friendship hiatus until you make your way to Pittsburgh with movie in hand to watch this.
It's on Amazon. She doesn't even need it in hand.
It's already on my computer. I'm just waiting for Becca.
Yep. Becca, get over there.
All right. It makes me cry. Like, I literally cry at the 25th anniversary one every time I watch it.
I cried
I never thought
the regular one, so I wonder if it would be 10 times worse on this one.
Well, Carrie, you thought the movie with Gerard Butler was
I love
10 out
Gerard
of 10.
Butler. Yeah.
I like Gerard Butler too.
But it was also like one of the first musical experiences I had.
I think I saw the 25th anniversary one first. And then
I was like
saw
12
the other
when
one.
I saw the movie, so.
Phantom of the Opera was my first musical I ever went to. I sobbed. Like, sobbed. My dad was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine.
Aww.
He's gone." I was so upset. And then, like, we got to I cried the whole way to the car. It very traumatic. Anyways, the 25th anniversary one still makes me cry.
Anyways, like, in its most basic, like, that's when you know that there's someone so talented on the other end of that to, like, make you feel like that, right? Like,
That's true.
I would say the ACOTAR series is that for me. Even though, like, in the end of it, like, I'm not a huge Nesta fan, it's fine. Because the rest of the series is just... It's just so good. And part of it might be, like, one of the things that, like, got me back into reading, which is something that you guys had mentioned before, one of the things that got me back into reading was me picking up ACOTAR 5 years ago, and flying through the series and being like, and then immediately going into, like, a book slump, and then going into, like, you hit the book slump when you know it was such a good book that the author, like, put you in that place, and you're like, I hate you but I love you type situation, like Becca feels about Rebecca Yarros. I hate you but I love you. And I hate that it happened to, like, an unfinished series. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing it did, though, so we can process.
It's true.
No, I'm the opposite.
No?
I like have to know the end like immediately. I told Becca the dark Fae Guardian romance that I read, I thought it was a completed series when I started it. I got it on like a stuff your Kindle day, and my Kindle is stuffed. I'm just like, what? There's too much on my Kindle. I probably won't read it in the next 45 years. But there, it was one of the books I got, and like, I'm a feelings reader. So I just go through and I'm like, ooh, that cover caught my attention. I got it last year sometime. Like, let's just check it out. I'll scan my bookshelves, like, check my Kindle. I'm a feelings reader. I've got to like feel the story to pick it up. Or I'll have, like, I had my next book on deck, and I was gonna read 7 Year Slip, which I'm still going to read because I've heard really good things about it. I'm still going to read, but I can't. I'm gonna reread the entire series, and here I am rereading the entire
Here you
series.
are.
So feelings based really
So,
got me on that one.
are you the person that gets like trapped by like the TikToks that like you read through, like they have like 6 slides and it's like the snippet and it has the really dramatic music behind it and then it's like read for more? Do those get you?
If I would, yes, and if I was on social media more, I would probably be in one of those like, which I did once, so I will admit now and never talk about it again. Fell into the trap of like download the app and like do this to get the full story, and I was like, I need the full story. Like, wait, I need the whole thing. Download the app. They made me watch probably 2 hours worth of commercials throughout this like short story book, and you bet I sat there and watched every single 2 hour worth of commercial to get to the end of this book, and I went, okay, that wasn't quite wasn't quite worth it. But yes, that's me. But I thankfully am not on social media all that often, so I don't get sucked in as much.
It's probably smart. Carrie, is that you? Do you get sucked in by this? They get me every time.
I'm surprised that they get you every time, though, Becca, I will say.
Okay, they don't get me every time. I've gotten more selective,
It's
but
perhaps you.
they get me more than they should for sure. But here's the thing, I refuse to pay for them. I did once, never again. So like Marissa, I'm with you. I did once, never again. But they're either on Kindle Unlimited and I or they're free or they don't get read. And that's my line.
There you go. It's a good line. You gotta have boundaries.
Boundaries.
She still said she found 3 today, though.
I did. They were all on Kindle Unlimited.
Well, that's good. That's very
I
lucky,
mean, oh,
actually.
I have things on my Kindle Unlimited that like I have to go through and like clear them out once a month because I like find books like that and I'll like put them on my Kindle and then I'm like I have no idea what this is about and I'll read like the summary and I'm like I don't want to read this. What am I doing? But it just like got my attention.
Can you have unlimited books on your Kindle Unlimited?
I think it's like
Like,
20.
They have a limit?
Yeah.
Well,
But like once you finish a book, you return it and then you get a new one.
how do you return it?
You just press a button.
Oh, I still have all mine on.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I can do Kindle Unlimited because I'm a hoarder. Maybe I like my book trophies, but I cleared out some books actually. I got rid of like 4 or 5 books. They were books from like middle school and high school, if that tells you anything about me being like a book hoarder. Finally
Nice.
cleared those out.
I
So
tell Liam all the time that me having a Kindle saves us bukus of money because I like have Kindle Unlimited. I don't know what I would do without it. I seriously don't because
you'd be broke.
I'd be so broke.
Modest creep. Also say hi to Becca and Carrie.
Hello, Becca and Carrie.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, so thank you so much for listening to us today. Go follow Marissa on Instagram. It's at as_Rissa_reads. And while you're there, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Tomes and
Yes.
Tropes Pod. Or if you have thoughts about this episode or this book, email us at tomesandtropespod@gmail.com. The best way to support us is by rating and reviewing wherever you listen and sharing with your book-loving friends.
Yeah. If you want to hear us deep dive into more books, go check out our episodes on The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Divine Rivals, and Ruthless Vows. And we are so excited to dive into Powerless by Lauren Roberts next week. We're very excited, and we're going to continue our coverage into Reckless when it comes out. So we're very, very excited. But yeah, thanks for joining us today, Marissa.
Thank you. It was fun chatting with you.
Yeah, stay curious and keep reading.
Bye.
Bye.